My name is Patrick Marr, and I'm here to present my research on how to best facilitate community engagement for disaster preparedness in the Fijian community. I have summarized this presentation in the extract for you to reference after the presentation. This is the 10th anniversary of the Slacks Creek fire that claimed the lives of 11 South Pacific Islanders who were members of the Fijian community. Fire safety is a priority for the government, but do the Fijian people feel the same? Original primary research suggests that even a decade on from this disastrous event, that members of the community are still not acknowledging the increased risk that is posed to their homes. In response, community engagement could become a multifaceted program as a part of their everyday lives that engages people through their preferred medium and is targeted to their age demographic. The challenge in the community engagement would be to focus on the phenomenon of social media. Understanding the complexity of the relationships within the Fijian community allows key stakeholders to raise the consciousness of the Fijian community using co-design solutions. Effective communication between the state and community comes from grassroots engagement. This should appeal to the Fijian community as they believe in a community helping community approach, which increases the sharing of information, understanding, and outcomes. The Fijian community revolve around three key audiences, reflecting on their participation in sport, mainly rugby union and league, religion, mainly Christianity, and extended family group celebrations. The Fijian culture align with Suchman's legitimacy theory in that the culture forms appropriate socially constructed systems of norms, values, and beliefs. The Fijian community has a strong feeling of loyalty, pride, and together the community-owned facilities. Not in a financial sense, but in the way they support teams and religion. The members of the community that are led by those in supporting roles, for example, coaches, priests, and those in senior respected positions within their families who have life experience. There has been a recent shift to acknowledge the members of the community who have proceeded on to further studies, particularly as doctors and lawyers. However, as the younger members are granted positions of power due to their knowledge, they will challenge assumptions, and this will benefit the community attitude towards disaster preparedness. The Excel document in the extract from the 2016 census from the Australian Bureau of Statistics shows that the percentage of people within Brisbane who identify as being of Fijian descent. While this number is small in terms of overall population of Queensland, it is important to consider community engagement with all areas of diverse, multicultural population that now call Queensland home. As a researcher who is involved in community sport, there is a direct connection to the reserved Fijian community. The issue here lay in the adage of Fiji time, where things may or may not be addressed unless there is a specific time frame. As shown on the disaster bar graph in the extract, in spite of spending $40 million on disaster recovery in 2013, 83% of Fijian respondents in my questionnaire did not see having a disaster plan as a priority. The main reason given for not considering a disaster preparedness plan was the optimism bias and a perceived lack of time to prepare. This is showed in repeated themes from key stakeholders that the hierarchical powers need to be emphasized in the co-design approach. Other considerations were the lack of situational awareness, as they did not place the importance on being prepared for a disaster. This cultural response is based on behavioral psychology and has an implementation for predictable, controlled interventions in community engagement. Resilience is a shared and collective responsibility. The Fijian people are interested in common goals, and according to Krukenberg and Stark, this means that they will regulate their activities. The National Disaster Risk Reduction Framework refers to a triple dividend in risk reduction and resilience. Avoid loss and suffering, reduce future disaster costs, unlock economic opportunities. A good way forward is to develop a sequence of choices that can be easily implemented. Primarily, from a community perspective, the best way to get information into the Fijian community is to take advantage of social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. This is commonly referred to as a social perspective, as it links individual and organizations with their community leaders. Secondly, Social state level of engagement can occur when the collective actions become a community of practice between QFES and community leaders to understand how to best address their values and community needs. Finally, it could be advantageous to engage Coastal Climate Adaptation Decisions and Support, or CSADs. Developed in 2017, CSADs will help the community track progress, obtain guidance on risks and vulnerabilities, keep records, and prepare plans. In conclusion, by working closely with both experts and stakeholders, possible outcomes for disaster preparedness can be considered in community engagement. Thank you.